Hello there, this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. Some of you will have noticed I've been rather quiet of late. Just a lot going on, nothing major, just a lot to do, and my social life seems to have taken off a little bit. So I haven't had a lot of time for Stampin' Up, so I'm a bit just chasing my tail to catch up a little bit and recording videos for cards that I showed you quite a while ago. This is one of them. This was made for a blog hop, which the theme was geometric. So I had all these lovely squares on my card, all these embossed squares, and then just a very simple message over the front. I'm going to remake this today, but I'm going to make it with happy birthday, so that it'll be another one in my happy birthday stash. So let me show you what we did. So we need a thick card base because the white is this is going to be able to stand up, so you need quite a thick cardstock. So you need the thick Whisper White. It's slightly more expensive than the normal Whisper White, but it's worth it, believe me. I'm going to do this 14.5 actually, because the squares don't quite meet. So if I do it a little bit smaller, we'll have a smaller border there. So I'm going to do 14.5, and then I'm going to score at 10.5 centimeters. If you want it in Imperial, oh, that's the wrong place. Pay attention, Jill. I did it at 9.5. Okay, that'll be all right. I'll put that on the back. Hopefully no one will notice. If you want it in Imperial, then I have done 5 3/4 and then scored at 4 1/8. And actually I'm now going to turn into Imperial because I measured my embossed squares in Imperial for some odd reason. I don't know why. I've done them in Imperial, so hey ho. So there's the background for my card. Now the embossing folders we're using are these. These are all 3D embossing folders, which means you need a certain sandwich. You just need one plate and the blue plate, I think it is, to push these through your cut and emboss machine. But these come as a set in the online exclusive, so you won't see them in the catalogue. We've got hobnail glass dots, flowers and crosshatch. They're all lovely. I'm really pleased with them. And when I made my last card, I had half the sheet left over, so I don't need to emboss more today. So there they all are. I don't know how well you can see them there. Let's bring them up to the camera. Can you see those a bit better? There we go. Right, okay, so what we need to do is to cut these down into 1 1/4 squares. So I'm going to cut. So that's what I said, I'm turned into, so it is actually 3.2 centimetres. We want to do it in metrics, 3.2 centimetres. So there's one. And I will need of each 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 of each. So if 4 will get out of here, I won't need to cut the other one, but I'm not sure it will. I might need another length, let's see. So just cutting squares. Now some of you may have a punch that you can cut squares with. You can do it on either side of your trimmer, so you can do it on this side. Might be slightly easier to do it on this side. 2, 1 1/4, 3, and 1 1/4. Oh, just moved a little bit. There we go. It's a bit tricky. So I've got my 4 there, so I don't need to cut the other strip. I'll save that for a different project. And then I just need to do the crosshatch again, 1 1/4 one way. Save this piece for another project. I'm glad I kept these from the previous project because this has made it much quicker. So do keep your scraps and things because they do come in useful. And then when you're a bit short of time, it's very useful. Not having to get the die cutter out this afternoon was really useful. There we go. And one last one of this pattern, the crosshatch. It's got a little scrap here. I'm not sure I'm going to keep that. I'm not sure that's going to be any useful. And then we've got the hobnail glass dots. So these are quite big dots actually. Bigger than I'd choose really, I suppose, if I'm honest, but actually they do look quite nice. and it is quite a deep impression that they give, which is lovely because it's a 3D folder. There we go. So have you all missed me while I've been away? I have been trying to get back into it. It's just been really difficult to find the time. We've been having some work done on our house. My sister has been ill, and then my uncle died and we went to the funeral. I've had a couple of breaks away. Just accumulation of things that has been going on just stopped me getting into my craft room, really. Right, there we go. That's all the embossing squares done. So now we're going to stick these on here. So I'm going to mark the centre of my card, just so that I've got an idea. I'll mark it down here. So it's 14.5, so I need to mark it at 7 1/4, just so that I can see where the middle of my card is. And then I'm going to come in with, so I'm doing white on white again, which I think gives a really nice effect. That one's got a bit of a mark on it. Where can that go where I can hide the mark? Might have to just put up with it. Right, I'm going to put this one here, I think. So a little bit of Tombow. I'm using Tombow to stick these all down. Don't need too much. And then quite near the top, you need quite narrow borders, and not quite central because you need a little gap in between. Like so. And then I'm just going to take my piece of post-it tape and put that down, so then I can butt the others up against that. So I'm going to take a part of the flowers. I'm doing all mine with the embossed side facing up. If you want a different look, you can do the embossed side facing down. There we go. And then a cross hatch. And it really is that simple, but try and line them up carefully so that they are all equidistant apart. So, like so. And then we need another flowers at the end. Each row is going to have 2 of one of them. Try and get it in all the corners so that they stick down nicely. And that will go there, and then that's our first row done. And then I'm going to rub out my centre because I don't need that anymore because I can see where the centre is. So I'm going to take the flowers, and that is going to go here with a very small border above. So I'm going to stick that one on. And I'm going to use my post-it tape again to line up this line. I think it's the little tips like that that make your card making go from one level to the next level, because they'll be very precisely and very straight, so there won't be any wobbly bits. So take your post-it tape. I've said before, this is available on Amazon, but Post-it don't make it anymore. This is actually original Post-it tape. Post-it don't make it anymore, but there are other companies making very similar. I've got quite a wide tube, quite roll of it. So this is the same sort of stuff. I just tear it in half to use it. I don't need all of that width. So that, I just bought it on Amazon. So there we go. So we're back to dots up in the corner here. So I'm going to try and line up the borders like so. Then I think we must need cross hatch. So I'm recording this at the end of July. I'm not quite sure when it's going to go out, but hoping you're all, if you're in the UK and got children, I'm hoping you're enjoying your summer holiday. First week gone. It's about 5 weeks to go, is it? I know the schools in Surrey go back on the 1st of September, which is a Friday, which is really bizarre. I've got friends who are teachers. Admittedly, maybe the children don't go back, maybe the teachers have an inset day. But I would not have been happy if I'd still been in education to have to be going back on the 1st of September, I can tell you. Right, and then one more dots, which can be here. Put this here. So this just makes quite an effective background, I think. It's white on white with different embossed patterns. Really nice. Really liking this effect. Move that up a little bit. There we go. And then we've got two cross hatches, one at each end. And like I said, I'm making this into a birthday card today because I've just bought some dies which are called Wanted to Say dies, and there are just text dies. One says feel better soon, I think. One says happy birthday. One says celebrate. And one says something else which I can't remember at the minute, but they're quite useful. They've all got the text and a shadow, which I really like. Is that going there? Yep. And then there we go. And there we are. So that's our background done. Now here are my happy birthday die cuts. So they're cut with these dies. So you've got the happy birthday, which is actually 2 words, and then we've got the background, the shadow, which I've cut out in Berry Burst. And then the happy birthday will go on top of that. I just need to finish poking out all these little bits. Like so. My daughter, some of you will know if you've followed me, is in Bali at the moment, having a wonderful time. She's on her 3rd week there. Done all sorts of exciting things, climbed volcanoes, got up early to see the sunrise, swimming with turtles, been whale watching? What did they go on the boat for? A lot of snorkeling. Had a really fab time, but I have to say she is finding the food issue a little bit difficult. They're not always very aware of gluten-free, so sometimes she's not had a good time. I think she's gone hungry a couple of times because they brought her food and she wasn't absolutely convinced that she would be able to eat it. So rather than risk it, she's not eaten, which is not great when you're on holiday, is it? One of the joys when you're on holiday is having good food. Some places have been better than others. I think actually on Bali they've been okay, but they've travelled to some of the more remote islands as well, and I think that's been the issue. And sometimes, although they were aware, she gets very, very ordinary food. So one night they had a dinner arranged with the group that they were with. Everyone had this marvellous food, and they just bought her a bit of grilled chicken. I think she felt a bit deprived. I think she's looking forward to getting back and being in charge of her own food again. Right, look at that. Oh, isn't that nice? I'm liking that die cut. There we go. So we're just going to put some dimensionals on the back here. So I'm just going to cut some in half. I don't want to waste my big ones. Just means they'll last a little bit longer before I need to repurchase. I do use a lot of dimensionals, so they go on most orders, to be honest. But I do try and be quite thrifty with them if I can. And actually they fit on here much better as halves. There we go, that'll do. And then just put this on here. So that's just a very simple way of making a lovely thank you card, or a birthday card, or whatever you happen to have. I will just show you the Get Well die in a sec. Let me just finish doing this and I'll show you the other dies in this set. There we go. So that's just, I just wanted to write something very plain on this. I didn't want to cover up the lovely embossing. So there we go. So very quickly, the other dies in this set, like I said, we've got Celebrate. We've got all these little flowers, stars, hearts, a little parcel, some leaves to go with the flower and a bow. And then we've got You're Too Kind, Feel Better Soon, celebrate, and of course happy birthday. So I thought it was quite a sweet die set, really. I'm quite pleased with that. And there, I'm going to get rid of everything else, all the other rubbish, are my 2 cards. Get rid of the dimensional backings as well. There are my 2 cards. Hope you like them. And if you want to give them a go, everything that I've used is available below. These are the embossing folders, I don't know if I told you, called the 3D Basics 3D embossing folders in the online exclusives, not in a catalogue. They're just in the online exclusives. If you can't find them, just send me a message, but they will be linked below, so you will be able to follow the link. That's all from me today. Hope you have a fab day. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back really soon. Bye for now.